So did you know that succulents actually prefer no water or little water versus a regular plant prefers lots of water? Succulents will actually thrive better if you kind of forget about them and leave them alone, do not water them. So today I'm going to be telling you how to plant and care for a succulent. So we'll go over kind of the materials needed, physically planting your succulent, and then how to care for it after you've got it in your pot and it's all set up and ready to go. So to start with, we have materials needed. So I have a plant, of course. This is actually a Zanzibar aloe. So it's actually a cactus-like plant. It's got some thorns on it. Since it's still like a baby plant, they don't really hurt to touch or anything, but as it gets bigger, they'll definitely get a little sharper. Next, I have obviously a pot for that plant to fit in. So I wasn't sure. It kind of looked like when I picked this up that there was maybe 2 plants in here. So I have 2 different pots out. This one's just a little owl clay pot. This is just another clay ceramic pot. Notice that they both have drain holes on the bottom. So succulents, in order to take care of them properly, it is essential that you have a container that has a drain hole in it. So I've got 2 of those here, and I've also got a drain hole cover. So this is just a little plastic screen. You're going to put it in the bottom of your plant just to keep any dirt from coming out when you water it. Speaking of dirt, I've also got just some potting soil. Now I spaced this out before I started this video just so you wouldn't have to hear like the bag in the background. So, and then I've also got some just river rock. It's just for cover. It's not required, but can be used for decoration. And I've also got just a little cup of that portioned out here. So let's get started. So for planting your succulent, you're going to start out obviously by selecting your pot. So I'm going to start with this owl pot here. So first things first, you're going to take your plastic cover and you're just going to put it in the bottom of your plant, or your pot. So I know you can't really see well, but there is a little plant cover in there now. So now that's set in, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill this container about 2/3 of the way up with dirt, even though there's not a plant in here yet. And I'll explain why in just a second here. Alright, so I've got my plant here, or my dirt here in my pot, and with my finger I'm just going to kind of go around and make a little hole so when I have the plant, I can just stick it down in there and it'll be secure and ready to plant. So I've got a little hole burrowed in my dirt here. Secondly, I'm going to go ahead and remove this plant from my pot. I'm just going to pull it straight out here. Like I said, succulents are pretty dry, so as you can see, this stick came out with no hesitation. It's actually getting dirt all over the counter. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to lightly squeeze to get all the excess dirt off. I'm trying to get just the roots out. This is typically a product you want to do outside, but it's pretty cold, and I figured I would just do it in here. It actually looks like this is one plant here, so I will not be needing my 2 plants, or my 2 pots. So with that being said, I've got the roots just loose here, and I got all the dirt off of them, so I'm going to be really gentle with them so I don't break them off, and I'm just going to put them down in the pot. Now, with succulents, like I said, I only filled this about 2/3 of the way full with potting soil when I started, because you want to be able to make sure succulents don't like water, so they will dry rot, or they can rot out if you submerge any of the plant other than the root in the dirt. So you want to make sure that the plant is level with the top. So with that being said, I can kind of add dirt around that now that it's in here to just kind of secure it and get it in place. Just going to finish topping this off here. Make sure it's secure. Now that it's in here pretty well, I've got the plant. There's no part of the plant is under the soil. It's just the root. with that being said, your plant is now planted. And there's a mess all over my counter. So going forward, I'm just going to use some river rock, like I had mentioned earlier, just to kind of decorate the top of the soil. So you just take a little handful and kind of throw them in around the sides here. As for watering, you want to water your succulent when you first get it really well, to the point where water is coming out of this drain hole at the bottom here. And then after that, you honestly just let it be. They're pretty easy plants to take care of, considering they do not need much water. So yeah, I am going to water this right after this video, and then I'm just going to put it in sunlight. They're typically a desert plant, so they benefit from low humidity and high sun. So in conclusion, today we kind of went over planting and taking care of a succulent, kind of reviewed the materials needed, planting your plant, and then caring for it afterwards. I hope that you learned something from this video, and maybe now that you've watched, you might go get a succulent of your own. Thanks!